What's happening, guys? Lockie here, and in this video I'm going to take you through kind of like a day in the life of my work. It's going to be a little bit sporadic though. I'm not used to like filming my work. I usually just wake up and work. So bear with me if the footage isn't that great and all the shots and don't get all the angles and that. But at the moment I'm going for a bit of like a walk along the beach. I think this is Paranan Beach. I haven't been in Bali long enough, I don't think, to actually know what beach this is, but it's around about 6 a.m. The cafe that I usually work at, I usually bounce around to different cafes a lot of the time in the mornings, and then in the afternoon I'll go back to the villa and I'll get work done there when it starts to get really hot here. So at the moment it's about 6 a.m. I'm just going here because the cafe that I'm working at this morning, it's called Zin Cafe. If you're ever in Bali and you want to like actually go somewhere where you can work, where it's like air conditioned, great food, nice ambiance, like cool vibe, lots of seating places. It's a really good co-working cafe. They've actually got their whole co-working space set up in there, which I'll show you momentarily. But it's not open yet, so I'm just waiting for it to open. You can see some people out here surfing, which is really cool. I've never been to this mansion place, but it looks quite nice. I imagine it's like beautiful in the sunset. Usually, like, I mean, you can kind of see like the sun rising in the background here. But usually there's an insane sunset over there. I went for a beach walk the other night. I'll put it up on the screen. They had no filter on that video as well, which is pretty crazy. So I'm really excited. So today I'm just gonna be doing some work. I've got some meetings with the guys, and then I've also got a presentation I need to finalize. So I'm actually flying to Sydney tomorrow, which is really exciting because there's this really awesome community in Australia of like young salespeople who are trying to learn and build their sales skills online, because sales is a really good skill for people who want to generate an income online, because you can help another company make sales virtually and then they pay you commissions, right? So you have like an uncapped income. You don't need to be in person. It's also just a great skill to learn because it helps you in personal life as well. And there is a really awesome community of, I think it's like 250 or something people who are trying to do that online and get better at it and help each other. And we have a sales conference in Sydney, which is really cool. So tomorrow I'm actually flying back to Sydney. I'm gonna meet up with my business partner, Lucas. We're gonna catch up, do some work, link up, and it's just good to meet in person and like talk about a few things that's going on with the company, the vision for where we're going, and a few other big projects that we've got going on. And then we're actually gonna be meeting up with a lot of our team members, which I'm really excited about, because since we run a virtual company, like we haven't met most of our employees, teammates in person, right? Like we haven't met most of them in person because everything's online. So I'm really excited to meet a lot of them in person for the first time. Like we put in blood, sweat and tears with our teammates every single day. And I really love those guys. They're really awesome. So I can't wait to meet them in person. Some of them for the first time, some of them we met before. We're going to a beautiful place called Zushi in Barangaroo, which is like a really beautiful Japanese place on the water in Sydney. It's really nice. So we may have footage. I may not get out the camera. I don't know. I'm new to this vlog style thing. But if we do, I'm sure it'll be in here. And we'll meet the guys for the first time, have some really beautiful Japanese food, have some drinks. It'll be heaps of fun. And then the next day after that is the sales conference. So I'll be speaking at the event and just sharing some of the many failures and many lessons that I've collected over the past 8 years in my entrepreneurial journey and sales journey, and hopefully helping them get a better start into their career, which would be really cool. So I'm just gonna get a few more steps in here, and then I'll see you guys over at Zin Cafe. So welcome to Zin. This is kind of where I work in most mornings. This is like my little setup here, laptop, nice and chill. Got the fan right above me. Have to, of course, because it's super hot here in Bali. I think it's like it's 30 degrees right now, but this is really nice. So what I'll usually do is I'll just get like a coffee in the morning. I'll get like a cold brew coffee here, and then I'll also get like a coconut, and I'll just lock in. I actually kind of like coming to cafes like this. I find like, because this will fill up with people. There'll be people everywhere here. I know like the ambiance, like the vibe that everyone's hustling. You know, one of the reasons I moved to Bali was because in Melbourne, sure, if you really want to work really hard to find places, I'm sure there are some places maybe kind of that are, you know, like this in terms of everyone's like-minded, but I really found that I couldn't find many of those places, to be honest. So one of the things about moving to Bali for me was I love coming to places like this, and just the energy is very entrepreneurial. And I don't even care if it's like entrepreneurial energy. It's more like people want to do better, and everyone is prioritizing progress in their life, whether it be, you know, from a physical, financial, career, or even spiritual place. Everyone here is trying to progress and do things. You've got the tourists and stuff like that, but you know, even at the gym that I go to, it's just a different energy. These co-working spaces here, people show up, everyone's hustling, everyone's doing their own thing. It's kind of like a very condensed place of people who all mutually decided that their hometown, there wasn't enough other people like them who wanted to work on big things. They wanted to think bigger. They wanted to break out of this normal life or this shell that you're kind of boxed into in your hometown. Because if you're in your hometown, your home city, maybe 1 or 2 cities over, it's very likely that a lot of people you know are doing the same things and all have a very similar trajectory. But if you want to do something that is completely outside the norm, then it is easier. You don't want to be dependent on it. That's key. Like I hear people talking about how they're going to move cities and move places and it's going to change their life. It's like, dude, if you can't change your life where you're at, I promise you, moving to Bali is not going to make you some spiritual entrepreneur, right? But it will, the vibe will facilitate it. And that's what I love about this place, is like everyone who show up here later on today, they're all like-minded people. They're all moving, they're all shaking, they're all trying to do bigger things than what the expectation of the norm was where they were in their hometown. It doesn't mean that everyone here is superior or anything. It's just a different energy. It's just like a progress energy. Like in Australia, we have something called like tall poppy syndrome, where it's like when you start making progress, everyone around you just assumes that, oh, you think you're too good or whatever it is. And it's almost like they don't want you to win. Whereas like here in Bali, from, you know, not just the Balinese people who are amazingly polite and kind and warm and welcoming, but also just like the other digital nomads, is there's none of that. Like if you see another digital nomad winning, you are just so pumped up for that guy or girl, and you're just like, dude, keep crushing it. Like you've been smashing it. I can't wait to see you win more, because you know if all the people around you are winning, it's going to force you to win. And I think that is very rare in most people's hometowns, and I think a lot of the time you have to move out to find those types of people. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my earphones in. I go noise isolation mode so it helps me focus, and then I'm going to sit down. I'm going to work here until it's like 6:30 a.m. right now, until I have an interview at 10 a.m. for someone who wants to join our team. I'm then going to keep working until 12 p.m. I've got another interview, and that interview will run through to a third interview I have at 1 p.m. So I've got 3 interviews today for potential people who want to join the team. And in that, I'm going to try and get as much work as I can done on this talk for Sydney over the next couple of days, which is going to be really sweet. And then there's also just some team things that I need to do in between there, just to check in on the team, see how they're doing, answer any questions, just make sure the vibe and everybody has what they need to crush today on their own tasks and their own projects. And then I need to move some needles on my projects for both the talk, to get that talk done and dusted, and then also some other bigger projects that I'm working on from like the company side for both businesses. And then I've got those interviews. And then that will basically wrap up the day. And then when I get home tonight, I'm gonna have to look at starting to pack. So let's do it. What's up, guys? I'm back. Just got out of the shower, and I thought I would give you guys an update on my day, because this is, I guess, a day in the life, so that's relevant. Let's get into it. So you saw me at the beach. I went for a walk. I then worked at Zin today. I had 3 interviews in between that. I was working with the team and working on some other needle moving projects. And I was also working on the talk for the Sydney event. Not tomorrow, I'm flying to Sydney tomorrow, but the day after that, I'm flying up early to meet the team and hang out with Lucas and do a bunch of cool stuff there. So that's basically it. I then, after the interview at 1 p.m, I worked for an extra hour at Zin, just cleaning some things up. I then rode my scooter back here to the villa. I had some lunch, which I'll touch on. I basically had, at the moment for lunch, I'm kind of breaking my fast, so I fast. Today was actually really late. Usually I'll break my fast at like 12 p.m, but I had interviews, so I didn't want to be eating just before it and feel heavy. So I had 300 grams of chicken strips, 90 grams of rice, and half a lime. I sprinkle a lime over it. That's basically it. I'll talk about the meal prep service I use in a moment. Yeah, I came home, had some food, did some reading. I am rereading this book. This book changed my life. I've reread this literally countless times. Like if I had to guess, probably at least 30 times. Like I've read this book a lot. It's called Awaken the Giant Within, if you can focus in on that. A really good book on essentially how to like achieve the life that you want through changing your identity so that your life becomes that. Maybe I'll talk about that in another video. I know it's a bit of a deep topic to go into on this. Then after I read a bit of that, I got back into work. It is now currently 7 p.m. and I'm looking to start winding down for the night. I've been awake since 5 a.m. That's typically my schedule. It's like 5 a.m. and then I'll work till like 8:30 and then I'll wind down for like 30 minutes. You know, usually I watch an episode of like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is the best TV show ever. You can't debate me on that, which I'll make another video because yes, I do watch occasionally Netflix and TV. I didn't for a really long time, but I'll talk about that in another video. And what else? Yeah, so now I'm just going to do some work until 8:30 p.m. and then wind it down. The interviews are cool. What were my thoughts on the interviews? And I guess like what I look for, I've written out a little bit of a sheet just to talk about my day. What I look for in interviews is the number one primary thing is what is the person's track record of actually doing the thing successfully that I'm about to hire them. When I was first building teams, I would hire people based on potential because I'm an optimist. I feel like to be an entrepreneur, you have to be, you know, a massive optimist. And so I would see someone with no skills, no track record, but I'd see their potential. I'd be like, oh my God, I have to get this guy, this girl. She's going to come in and change the company and take it to the next level. That didn't always happen. You know, obviously there was some fuck ups on my end in terms of like the leadership and stuff, but it didn't always happen. So anyway, the first thing I look for is a track record. So I'll probably spend like, let's say it's a 30-minute interview. I'll spend like the first 15 minutes going through someone's entire employment history that's relevant to me and getting to the real specifics. Like, okay, this is the job, these are the type of meetings I want you to run in our company, for example. How many of those meetings do you run on a daily basis in that company? How many days a week? Okay, how long do those meetings go for? What was the agenda of those meetings? And I can get a really good idea, like a future predictor of success of someone in the role and a very good baseline of their skills just by hearing them talk very specifically about what they've already done directly in relation to what I want. So the more time I spend doing that and the less time I spend on like hearing about people's pros, people's weaknesses, etc., it's giving me a way better indication of how good this person's gonna be actually doing it from day one. The second thing I look for is a culture fit. Do I actually want to get to know this person and make them good and get to know about their dreams? Not from like I don't want to get to know people, but like just do they mesh well? Have they got a sick personality? Are they exciting? Are they enthusiastic to be around? Do they get me excited to show up to work? Because one thing I learned is if you don't really love someone that you hire, you actually aren't going to go the extra mile. And I learned this from Layla Hormozi. She said it one time and it just crystallized something I'd experienced a few times. You're actually not going to go the extra mile as a leader or as a coach to want to take that person to the next level. You're not going to book in end of days with them. You're not going to book in end of week meetings with them. You're not going to book in more checkups to see how they're doing because you just don't want to have to deal with it. And that's a really, really negative headspace to be in as a leader. And it's just not fun. So that's the second thing is a culture fit. Would I actually want to work with them? And then the third one is like coachability and like learnability essentially. So are they open to taking feedback? What's their track record of actually getting better at doing this and learning things and being coachable? Because virtually, I don't want to say virtually nobody, but it's, you know, the skills that we have in our company are very unique. So it's quite hard for someone to come in like fully equipped. So it's really important that they have a solid track record as best as possible of doing what I'm going to ask them to do as best as they can, even in a similar field. Then they have to be an amazing culture fit. So I want to coach and train them and they're going to fit in very well with the team. So, because one toxic person can ruin a whole company. And then the third one is learnability, coachability, and a really strong work ethic. It kind of ties into that as well. I feel like that one's kind of common sense. So that's what I look for. Those are three things. My daily schedule now is I'm going to have some dinner after I record this video, then smash out some extra work while I eat dinner, and typically I eat food. I like to try to switch off, so I'm just gonna watch some snowboarding videos. That's how I switch off. I try not to really use social media that much, like, you know, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat. I don't really use those platforms that much because I find that with the scroll, the way that the feed is scientifically built to trigger dopamine hits really fast. So it basically destroys your dopamine receptors. And what I mean by that, this isn't a judgment on anyone uses social media. Like I've definitely used social media and it's not like, it kills my productivity because it just sends signals to my brain that, okay, you're in relaxation mode now in a fast hit way. Like it's really hard to switch from scrolling through an Instagram reel to locking in and writing like I don't know, like an agenda for a meeting or something way more boring. So what I do, and what I really enjoy doing, is I watch a guy called Marcus Cleveland on YouTube, just watching him snowboard. I find it aspirational and it's badass and it's entertaining. So do that, and I'll also have some dinner. So at the moment, I'm using this awesome meal prep service. I'm not sure how nice this is gonna look on camera. It's like steak and roasted sweet potatoes with some lime. So we've got 250 grams of Australian tenderloin steak, and then we've got 200 grams of roasted sweet potato. For breaking my fast, I have, like I said, 300 grams of chicken and 90 grams of rice. And then after this, for dessert, before I go to bed, I'll have 400 grams of natural yogurt, and maybe 300 grams, and 100 grams of mangoes, pineapples, and bananas. And so I think it's like 50 bucks a day. It's really good here. 50 bucks a day. It's cooked by a really awesome chef. They just bring it to my door literally, and I just throw it in the fridge and it's sorted every single day. So I don't have to worry about cooking and cleaning and any of that stuff. So that's really cool. So I'm gonna do that. And then I'm gonna pack for Sydney tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. That will be fun. And then why not also give a numbers update as well in terms of revenue. So let me get up Stripe for one of the businesses and I can walk you through it. So I'm probably gonna blur out some information just for privacy reasons, but you can see today in this business, in this payment processor, can you see that? I think it says like 35,300 in cash collected today. And one of our other payment processors that doesn't have like a fancy Stripe that I can show you all sexy like this, we did 15K. So not a bad day in terms of cash collected. By all means, that's definitely not profit. I don't know what our profit would be today. I'd have to sit down on the P&L and have a look. It's not profit, it's revenue, but you know, I'm pretty proud of where the team is at today and everyone and what they're doing. And one thing I wrote here that I want to touch on is like the goal. I don't like talking about money too much. The reason I share like revenue numbers and stuff in these videos, I've been quiet about this for like a very long time, is because I know that that's what people want to see is like evidence that what I'm saying and what I'm sharing is working. But I'm definitely not trying to make these videos to tell you what you should do. Like you have to do this because this is my way. I'm just trying to document this journey to help the younger Lockie who is struggling. And also I think it'd be really interesting to watch this back, you know, down the line and see what's happening. Because the goal isn't cash. Like I don't wake up and be like, that's a sick number. It's really like, as cliche as it sounds, building really cool shit with really cool people. Like that's what gets me excited. You know, when I was, you know, first getting into business, it was definitely to get out of like financial pressure, but we're fortunate today that that isn't so much the case. So now it's the goal and the mission is building really cool shit with cooler people. And it's like, how can I get more cooler people on the team, and how can we like build cooler shit that does cooler things for our customers? That's what gets me excited and gets me to wake up early in the mornings. Also, let me show you a photo actually of one of my old goals, because I want to show you guys like that showing that screenshot of where we're at today still feels crazy to me. I shared this recently on my Instagram. Sometimes I just post things on there to try and like, I don't know, just thoughts that cross my mind. So a really long time ago, it was like 7 years and I can't remember, something months and days ago, that I wrote down a goal sheet. Here it is. So I wrote this ideal me goals list on the 31st of December 2017. Today it's like halfway through October 2024. And one of my goals was to not smoke weed often. It was to have a good paying, enjoyable full-time job. You know, not long after this, I've got another image in here that I won't bother getting up. It was like, my goal is to make $100 a day online. And man, I struggled for a really long time. And so I just sharing that because I want you to know, like, if you're at the start of your journey, because this has taken me 8 years, like this has been 8 years of really hard work. If you're at the start of your journey, and you know, even making $1,000 a day on the internet seems like an insane goal, just know that you will hit it if you don't quit. Like if you don't quit, you will hit it. Maybe let me add an asterisk. If you don't quit with one thing, you'll hit it. If you keep quitting one thing but not quitting the overall mission, you will keep starting from scratch. But you'll probably still make it, because I did that for 4 years. Another cool thing is today I've got a decent sized team in place. So I didn't have to take any calls with clients or anything like that for us to generate that revenue, which is really awesome because it means I can help my team hit their targets. But today essentially I was just working on the speech. I was meeting my team and chatting with them, but working on needle moving projects and doing interviews to build the team. And we can still produce revenue numbers like that. And that took a really long time. Way back in the day, I was grinding flat stick on calls to sign up new clients for a really long time, for like literally years. And before that, I did a cold calling job in a 9 to 5 when I was 18. It was my first 9 to 5 job, and I did 58,000 cold calls in 1.5 years. So I feel like I've done my fair share of calls. By no means do I think I'm above it or anything like that. Like, I look forward to getting back on the phones and helping with different training things here and there. But it's just, it's just cool to see that get to the point where it is. Also, something I want to chat about is like, notice that my days aren't crazy. Like, I woke up at 5, had a conversation with my mum, which I'll talk about in a second, and got dressed, did a little bit of work, made a coffee, then rode down to the beach by 6, spent 30 minutes just like walking along the beach and thinking about what I'm going to do today, thinking about this event in Sydney and the things I need to do around that event, then started working at 6:30, and then have just literally worked up until like right now, 7 p.m. So that's it. And, there's no popping bottles on yachts. There's no, going skydiving or, 50-minute ice plunges or 20 minutes of affirmations, whatever it is. And I used to think that a lot of that was a part of being an entrepreneur, but really being an entrepreneur is just solving problems. And the more time that you can dedicate to solving problems and not doing other things, over time, it stacks up, right? Because today, the result, like the revenue that we did, is an accumulation of 8 years of me doing what I did today. So if you're in your beginner phase, your early phase, and you're just stacking bricks and stacking hours in the gym, the entrepreneurial gym, and it feels slow, it really should, because you can put in 99% of the effort. Forgive me, I've got fucking retainers and I've got a bit of lisp. You can put in 99% of the effort and get 0% of the reward for a very long period of time. But once it clicks and you're worth the results will come. And they'll come consistently, which is what you want. Sweet. I also know that what I'm doing today, like these essentially like boring days, I'm trying to document like the real shit here, is going to really be the result, or be the cause, of where I'm going to be in 10 years. Like where I am in 10 years, Lucas, myself, and the team, we have very, very big goals and dreams, and we know they're going to happen, and I'm really excited for that. But I also know that it's not going to happen quickly, and I can't just like punch a hole in the wall to make this stuff happen. Like, those goals that we're going to hit in 10 years are going to be the results of just days like this, just being stacked up over thousands of days. And I'm okay with that. Sweet. I guess coming towards the end of the video here, I was really debating talking about this. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I want to share the real shit on this YouTube video, because so long I feel like we've just been working behind the scenes and I haven't really talked too much about what I've been doing. And I really want to help the younger version of me and people who want to become an entrepreneur, or not even an entrepreneur, just want to have a successful side hustle or be successful in your own venture. And this morning at 5 a.m., I got the worst phone call I've ever received in my life. And like I said, I debated putting this in here, but I want to be real with you guys. It was my mum, right? My whole family is over in Australia. I'm living in Bali right now. And she basically said that, she basically said that my dad, who's in his 70s, had a major heart attack. And I'm not gonna lie, I bursted into tears. I feel pretty emotional even talking about it now, because that man is like my rock. Like, he's just, like, he's my heart and soul. He's why I do this. He's why I've done this for so long. If you've watched any of my other like story videos or something, you would kind of hear that. Anyway, I thought that he was dead when she first told me, and I just bursted into tears. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a crier. I'm not gonna fucking, I'm not gonna try and defend that. I love a good cry every now and then. Anyway, I basically just fucking bawled my eyes out. Mum was like reassuring me. She's like, it's okay. Like, he's not dying. Like, he's just had a major heart attack. He's in the emergency room or whatever it was, like the ICU. I don't know what it's called. And he just got rushed there by the ambulance, and he they're saying they don't think he's gonna die, and he doesn't have to do, like, they think he's okay, is essentially what she was saying. I don't have to fly back just yet, although I'm getting ready to pack my bags to make that trip instantaneously, because family above everything. Fuck. And the reason I'm bringing this up, well, first of all, he's okay, so don't panic. We're just waiting on to see how things goes. He's talking now and stuff like that. I just got a text before I started filming this video. And I'm going to be there for him and all that kind of stuff. The reason I'm bringing this into this video and why it relates to, I guess, entrepreneurship and stuff is because of where I'm at with the business. I do have a level of freedom. Like, I can cover whatever bills. I'm very fortunate to be able to cover whatever bills he needs to have to do whatever surgeries or, you know, private hospital or whatever it is. And I can just fly over there whenever I want and spend as long as I want with him. And it's like, I'm not going to worry about getting fired or, you know, not being able to pay my bills this month or anything like that. That said though, that freedom, ironically, comes at a cost of not freedom. Like, I got that call at 5 a.m. I bursted into tears and had to, like, honestly just get out of a state of, like, shock for 25 minutes this morning and collect myself. And then I had to fucking get to work, right? Could I have rolled over and just had a day in bed eating Netflix, fucking eating Ben & Jerry's and watching Netflix? That sounds tempting. But no, not really. Because, like, I had to press on. And what I've got written here is, like, you know, while my family's relying on me, like, I have the families of everyone else relying on me. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I can go and drop everything and fly there right now, and I'm getting ready to do that in terms of, like, all that kind of stuff, right? But, like, I still have to work. Like, I still had to get to the office at 6:30 a.m. I still had 3 interviews today. I still had to support all my team members today that needed meetings and extra training sessions. Like, I did an additional 2 hours of training sessions today with the team so they can help the customers get better results. And I had to work on a presentation for Sydney because people are depending on me for that event. I had to work on the other needle moving projects because my team, they're relying on me, and my team's family members are relying on me. Like, I've got people in our team that are taking care of their parents and have kids. So it's like, I can't just sacrifice, and obviously our customers as well. Like, I can't sacrifice those people just to dedicate everything to my people, if that makes sense. So, you know, I think this is just important to talk about because, and I'm not complaining in any way, shape, or form. I'm just trying to share the realities and just, I guess this is just like a bit of a video journal. Like, if you have a goal of having freedom in your life, that is fantastic. Just know that it comes at a cost. And I can essentially do what I want, but I also can't, right? And when you first get into entrepreneurship, it's like that for a really long period of time. Because if I didn't have a team today that could produce this revenue, but I still had, you know, a couple employees, like maybe 2 or 3 team members, then I would have had to produce that. And if I couldn't produce that today, then their careers and positions would have been in jeopardy, right? And if I was the one working specifically on the client's campaigns, then the client's campaigns would have been in jeopardy because I couldn't work on it. And that means that their employees, you know, jobs get put in jeopardy and that kind of stuff, right? So, yeah, I think it's just, you know, not careful what you wish for, but just think it through. Like, think it through. Like, there is definitely freedom with this life, but there's definitely a lot of obligation and responsibility that comes with that. So, he's going to be okay. I'm going to Sydney tomorrow. I'm going to be on the phone, FaceTiming my dad bright and early tomorrow morning, making sure he's all good. And, you know, the second anything I hear, if anything, you know, goes wrong, touch wood it doesn't, I'll be over there lickety-split to take care of him and be with him. Yeah, man, that's a day in the life of myself currently living in Bali, building cool shit with some cool people. So I'll see you in the next one.